शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरु वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणललिता सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादं सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Tara, she makes her appearance in the Valmiki Ramayana in the Kishkinda Kanda. Nothing is much told about her birth or childhood in the Ramayana. She is the principal queen of the Vanara king Vali and mother of Angada. So what we will do is, beginning from the Kishkinda Kanda, we will have a brief story of the Ramayana in the Kishkinda Kanda till Tara makes her appearance, and from then on we'll take up a much more detailed narration, which way we can get into her characteristics, her glories, her lessons to be learned for us, till her narration exists in the Kishkinda Kanda actually. So now the Kishkinda Kanda begins like this. Sugriva is in the Rishyamukha mountain with his monkey friends, and he looks down and he sees the Pampa Sarovar, and he sees two humans with a very Kshatriya gait walking. Whenever he sees anybody unknown to him, he sees with fear, and he feels that Vali has sent someone. And out of that fear, he calls his friends and shows them also. One of them was Hanuman. Hanuman, by looking at them, says that they don't look someone who has come to trouble you. But then Sugriva was not very convinced, and he asks Hanuman, you go and find out properly who they are, why they have come in this region. So Hanuman, who was a minister, who considered Sugriva as his king, was subservient to him, and immediately he takes in the disguises as a Brahmin and goes and meets them. Hanuman, when he goes and meets them, he asks. Hanuman was always a devoted servant of Vishnu, and when he saw Ram, immediately his divine consciousness awakened, and he could not maintain his disguised form, and he comes back to his regular form, Hanuman. And when Ram and Hanuman meet, they were very much happy because it is their eternal relationship as the master and the servant. They embrace each other, and then Lakshman explains to Hanuman why they have come there. He tells about Ram's exile, then he tells about Sita's kidnap, and then he says that how they encountered Kabanda, and Kabanda told that Sugriva is in Kishkinda Kshetra at the Rishyamukha Parvan area, and how his situation is also similar to Ram, and how his wife Ruma has also been stolen by Vali and now terrorized by Vali. So they have come. Hanuman was very joyful. He picked up Ram and Lakshman on his shoulders, and he jumps to the Rishyamukha Parvat. He goes there, and there he introduces Sugriva and Ram, and Sugriva's internal love for Ram also awakens, and he offers obeisances. And there Ram and Sugriva have a very strong, uh, they they assure each other for the friendship, and Hanuman makes a small fire also, and they go around it, and they said that in any situation our friendship will not break, we are there for each other. So now Ram asks what makes him sit there and be so fearful of Vali. So Sugriva narrates that how he and his brother Vali are the sons of the Riksharaj, the king of the monkeys of the Kishkinda kingdom, and then how after his father's death, becomes the king, and how he was always serving Vali with without any greed or any second thought. And once a demon Mayavi attacks the kingdom, and both brothers go behind to fight with him, but the demon runs, and it is a very long chase, and he goes outskirts of the kingdom and enters into a hole in the earth. So Vali, he also enters, and while entering, he takes oath from Sugriva, telling that you be here only until I return. Sugriva agrees. So Vali enters the hole, and it is like 1 year has passed now, and Vali does not return. Sugriva was very much anxious, and one fine day he sees blood oozing out of the hole. So Sugriva thought that, and then he heard the voice of the demon also. He couldn't hear Vali's voice. So after great deliberation and meditation, he concludes that Vali has given up his life. And so out of the fear that the demon might come back, he puts a big boulder on the hole, entrance of the hole, and he comes back to the kingdom, aggrieved. So then people are waiting for the brothers, and when they saw Sugriva, they heard the story, and they said that Sugriva has to be coronated as the next king. And Sugriva agreed, but actually Vali had not died. He got up when he finished killing the demon. When he tried to come out, he saw the boulder. He somehow pushed the boulder and comes to the kingdom, and he sees Sugriva on the throne. He was very much furious about it, and he accuses Sugriva. Sugriva tries to give him an explanation that actually that was a misunderstanding, but his voice was not heard of. And then Vali, because of his power, he steals his wife. He keeps Sugriva's wife with him, and actually chases out Sugriva. And Sugriva has now taken shelter of Rishyamukh Parvat. And then why that place is free from Vali's attack, he tries to say that once more there was another demon called Dundubi, who was as huge as a big buffalo, and he was always in looking for people for a duel fight. And Vali, anybody comes and asks for a fight, he is already always ready. So Dundubi comes to Kishkinda and he calls Vali for a fight, and Vali agrees, and they had a very furious fight. And in the fight, Vali subdues Dundubi. He kills him, and he picks up his body and just whirls and throws it, and that goes up 8 miles and falls. Actually, when the body was going, blood was dripping from his body, and it entered. Matanga Rishi was in his ashram, and few blood drops fell there. Now the Rishi was very much enraged. Then he meditated and he understood that what was the situation, and immediately cursed that whoever has done this heinous act for 4 miles of this ashram, that radius, if ever he enters, he'll be turned into a stone. So this news reaches Vali, this news reaches Sugriva also. And from then on, even Sugriva didn't even think about coming this side. So that way, Sugriva got a nice shelter away from Vali. So now, after hearing the story, Ram assures Sugriva that now, since he has come, he doesn't have to worry about anything, and soon Vali will be killed, and he will be back with his family. But Sugriva always so much fearful about Vali that he was not too sure that, because for him, he felt that Vali is the most powerful existence in the whole, most powerful person in the whole of existence. So then Ram, he understood what Sugriva was kind of doubting. So Ram immediately, he just with his toe, the least of his effort, he just pushes the dead body, the carcass of Dundubi, but it just flew 80 miles away. And also there are huge sal trees, and Ram just picks up one arrow from his quiver and shoots. The one single arrow passes through all the 7 trees and comes back and sits on his quiver. By seeing this, Sugriva was completely assured, and so Ram gives him an idea. You go to Kishkinda, ask Vali to come for a fight, and in that fight, what I will do is I will shoot Vali. So Sugriva agrees. He goes to Kishkinda Kshetra near the kingdom, and he challenges Vali. And Vali heard of Sugriva, was like, oh, this Sugriva is calling me. Immediately just goes and he fights. And the fight, within few minutes, Sugriva was completely exhausted. And Sugriva is just waiting that Ram will shoot and nothing happens. And then he thought, okay, if I'm waiting here, my life will go, and just somehow escapes and runs back. Then he meets Ram and he's like, what happened? Why was Vali not killed? And then Ram says, actually, you both look so similar that I was completely confused and I didn't want to make the mistake of killing you instead of Vali. So I thought it is better to wait. So he said, this time what you do is you wear a garland, and then I can distinguish. And this time death of Vali is sure. So again, Sugriva agreed. And Sugriva agreed, and he comes back to Vali. And again he calls out and he's like, oh, Vali, just come for a fight. So this is the time our heroine or the main character Tara comes into picture. So when Vali immediately gets up to go, Tara runs and she expresses her fear. She says that her womanly intuition told that something was wrong. She tells her husband, see, you shake off your fear, you shake off your anger. You may be powerful than Sugriva, but think for a moment. He ran away just now in fear, and he is hiding in the Rishabh mountain from so many years, not even thinking of coming this side. Just yesterday he came for a combat, and after getting completely thrashed, again he has already returned. So this goes on to say that he has a powerful ally who is injecting fearlessness in him. So this shows that Tara's wisdom and simple common sense. While he stops, looks at his wife and hears. She says she has heard from Angada that Sugriva has made friendship with the princess of Ayodhya and that they are formidable warriors. He is the supreme resort for the afflicted and has now assured Sugriva. Tara, in fact, insists her husband to extend his hand of friendship towards Sugriva, telling that he is his own brother and was never envious of him or greedy. And by doing this, he can have powerful ally with Ram. And she begged her husband, please do not enter into another fight. And this fight could prove it to be a last fight. So in this situation, we can see that there are many things which we can understand about Tara's character. See, here she is being wise, intelligent, caring, and also very grateful, because there was a considerable time where Vali was not there, and it was only under Sugriva's rule, and he completely honored Tara, and he was never because he was ruling. Obviously, Tara could make out that he was never greedy for the kingdom. And by her words, it is very clear that she is very diplomatic also, in the sense very positively, that she had that Rajniti in her. And so she said that the intelligent act would be, because he is your devoted brother also, and it is not that because you want to make up for the situation, you want to extend your friendship with Sugriva. It's not like that also. Actually, she was just looking for a moment to tell to her husband, and Vali was always so much in anger or arrogance or always intoxicated. So she actually could not explain to him in many of the situations. But when she got an opportunity, she said that, see, actually, right, it is your duty also to extend your friendship towards Sugriva. And if you, by doing that, because the princess of Ayodhya are with him, they can be your friends also, and that way your friendship can be more strengthened, your kingdom can be more strengthened. Think like that and try to extend your friendship instead of simply going and fighting. Even otherwise, even that much, if you don't even understand, just think that just yesterday he had come and today he is coming back again. Can anyone actually do that? And that too, it is after a long break. It is not that now and then Sugriva tries to come and fights with Vali. It is not even like that. So it is just a simple common sense also can make you understand all this. And she says that he is a supreme resort for the afflicted. So she knows that it is a divine power that Sugriva has taken shelter of, and because only who is a devotee or who has an inclination of devotion can understand, can only a little sober person can actually have such realizations. She tries to tell Vali as much as possible, but but even Sugriva was fearful of. So now even Sugriva was completely fearful of Vali all the time. Even now after taking shelter of Ram, he became completely fearless. So back to back when Ram told, first he asked him to go, he went, and next day immediately he says go again. So because he had taken shelter and he was surrendered to Ram at that moment, he was completely fearless. So it was possible for him to go again and again. But if it is a human, somebody else, if somebody assures her you go and you're completely trashed, and again next day they said us, we may not definitely go. But because he was surrendered to the Lord, that fearlessness entered his heart. What to say of Sugriva? Even little Prahlad felt fearless when he saw Lord Nrsimhadev. Even the demigods were frightened. But Prahlad felt so much fearless. Similarly, we as sadhakas, when we do our sadhana with focus and with complete faith, then we can actually be fearless because we are taking complete shelter of the Lord. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 554, it is told, Nyunam pramatta kurute vikrama yad indriya pritiya apranoti na sadhu manye yato atmanoyam asan api kleshada ashadeha. When a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activity. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds, he has already received a body which is, although temporary, is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on a material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it is not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification, by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after another. So in this way, Wali always loved. So now Wali always loved his wife. He gave respect to her, and was concerned about his family. But he said now that he understands that Tara is trying to guide him properly, because he always appreciated Tara's guidance. But he says that now that when that weak Sugriva just calls me for a fight, and when he shows his arrogance, I just cannot tolerate. It is not possible for me to use my intelligence and be sober. Even if I understand, I have to retaliate because my conditioning does not stop me. Almost says that today he will meet his death, and also said he knows about Ram. Now Vali says that I know about Ram. He is Dharma Rakshak. So he will not kill the innocent and he will not come in between my two brothers. Saying this, just leaves. Tara feels very sad. She becomes very prayerful, and she just goes inside. So here we see that even when wise words enter our ears, and we understand also, we turn deaf because our conditioning overpowers us. This we as practitioners should be very careful of, because in our walks of life, we should be directed by Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, and not by our uncontrolled senses. And also, we also feel that we are always right. So only people feel that I am so good, why bad things happen to us. And now also, Vali is very confident, he's just perfect. And when I am in the right direction, why will Ram kill me, or how can Ram harm me at all? So in this way, Vali goes, and the two brothers clash together, roaring like maddened bulls. And there was a very fierce fight again, and it almost looked that Vali was in the upper hand. And Sugriva was again completely exhausted. At that moment, Ram saw an opportune moment, and he aims at Vali and shoots. When Ram's arrow hits Vali, Vali falls down like a huge mountain, and he falls completely unconscious. He did not die yet. So, and after some time, Vali regained his consciousness, and he was completely exhausted. And in that frail voice, he was trying to talk to Ram, and Ram approached Vali with a smile. And Vali asked, "You are truth and virtue personified. Why did you shoot me?" I have not, there is no enmity between you and me. I was in a fair fight with Sugriva. And this way he condemned Ram's act. Actually, in the Valmiki Ramayana, there is a huge big paragraph. There are many, like, for quite some time, Vali condemns Ram with various accusations and various words. And he also, in his conversation, he regretted that he had not listened to Tara because he remembered the wise advice given by his beautiful wife. So even we, as conditioned souls, also when we don't get our things done the way we want, then we simply accuse the Lord. And if we are not careful about this, we just end up doing offenses. It could be accusing the Lord, it could be accusing the Vaishnavas also. And then if it leads to Vaishnava Aparadha, then it is very hard because we simply lose all the spiritual credits that we have gained with so much of spiritual practice. And day in, day out, we try to perfect our lives and try to do some spiritual practice. But if we're not careful about Vaishnava Ninda, Vaishnava Aparadha, then it actually doesn't yield to any spiritual realizations because we just lost our spiritual credits. So then Ram explains. Now Ram is a supreme lord. He doesn't have to give explanation to anybody, but he explains Vali. He says, see Bharata, now Bharata is the king of Ayodhya. Maybe he, like in Nandigram, he is there, but still it is under Ayodhya is under Bharata's rule. So Bharata now rules this world, and we, his brothers, are his servants. So it is our duty to roam the earth, promoting virtue and punishing the wicked. You, O proud monkey, are indeed wicked. So then Rama explains Vali the codes of morality. He says the younger brother should be regarded as one's own son and his wife as one's daughter-in-law. Vali had therefore been guilty of a great sin in punishing the sinless Sugriva and cohabiting with Ruma, Sugriva's wife. The scriptures prescribe death as the punishment for one who has illicit sexual relationships with his own daughter or a wife of his younger brother. And there was no doubt that Rama's punishing him was just. So Vali, he again, after telling this, he tells Vali that you don't grieve now, for you have been fortunate to receive the proper punishment, making you eligible for the higher planets after death. This is a very nice thing that Ram, by giving him punishment, gives him liberation also. Even in the battle of Kurukshetra, it is told that whoever saw Krishna at the time of death, everybody got completely liberated. So in life or in death, when there is association of the Lord, it is all auspicious. So then Ram says, "You felt that I acted wrongly by shooting you concealed. Since you are a monkey, this was the appropriate way to kill you. Just as when hunting, the king shoots arrows at animals while hidden from view. So I shot you." In this way, all levels of Vali's misunderstandings he tried to clear one by one. And it is very interesting and very nice that Vali accepted and gave up his anger and was grief stricken and was completely remorseful. He surrenders to Ram at that moment. So it is told that as Lord Chaitanya explains to Sanatana Goswami, the six angas of Sharanagati. He says, Anukulasya Sankalpa, Pratikulasya Varjanam, Rakshishyatiti Vishwaso Goptratve Varnam Tata, Atma Nikshepa Karpane Shad Vidha Sharanagati. The six visions of surrender are accepting that is favorable to Krishna, rejecting that is not favorable to Krishna, and completely convinced of Lord's protection, accepting Lord as one's guardian and master, full surrender and humility. Here, Goptritve Varanam Tata means accepting Lord as one's master and guardian. And here, Vali actually exhibits that very clearly. And Atma Nikshepa, even full surrender. Maybe he was not in a situation to do anything different, but he still, that situation, he really was completely remorseful, and that way he was complete out of all his sins. And then what happens if we surrender to the Supreme Lord? It's only all auspiciousness, all Shubhada. It is called all auspiciousness. Soon Tara got the news and she desperately runs towards Vali. Because she sees outside, and she sees outside Kishkinda, all were running towards the kingdom down, and she asks what has happened. Then they say that, see, now Vali is dead. Vali went in fight with Sugriva and he's dead. And now we do not know next what is going to happen. Maybe we are all going to get killed because Rama has come, Sugriva is there, and Sugriva and Ram are in ally, in friendship. And so we are just running everywhere. Tara, Tara was looking for, she called her Vanara lady friends, Vali's co-wives also, and she just runs, and she's so desperate. She runs towards Vali, and she falls at Vali's feet. When she falls at Vali's feet, she was completely shaken, and she was trying hard to wake up Vali, and she was like, "How? What is this?" She was completely like she was completely chased, and now she just could not think about Vali's being dead. So Ramayana is very poetic, and Tara's words are like this. She says, she's lamenting loudly, and she's like, "Get up, oh tiger among monkeys! Why do you not greet me? Come with me now and lay upon your excellent couch. The bare ground is no place for you, king, to lay. Alas, it is obvious that the earth is more dear to you than myself. For you lie there, embracing her with your outstretched arms. What shall I do? Where shall I go? I am lost." Because now there was a wave of thoughts that was converging into Tara's mind. She was thinking that now what is going to happen? What is going to happen to Angada? Because she was very much worried because he was very young, very small, and she was like, now we are under the mercy of Sugriva's rival. I mean, Vali's rival, because I do not know how Sugriva will consider us. And she realized that Vali got punished because of his atrocities he had done. How will Sugriva treat me? How they are the survivors of his enemy. She was very much anxious. It shows that when you are a little sober, she realized that because it was Vali's mistake, he got into this situation, and she almost knew that he'll get into this situation, because so only when he was going, she said, "Be careful, this could be your last fight." So when we are a little sober and a little thoughtful, actually truth dawns upon us. Only when we are just pushed by our conditions, then we just negate the truth. But otherwise, truth dawns on us. So Tara was completely chased. She did not desire to live or enjoy without Vali at all. She was continuously wailing. Vali was still alive. He saw Tara and he realized his mistake, and he was trying to console her. And at that moment, he, in his very frailing voice, he begged forgiveness from Sugriva. And that means that was a very touching scene, because Vali is so powerful, so proud, and now Ram has already forgiven him, and Ram has told him also that you will be liberated. And now Vali doesn't have to ask forgiveness from Sugriva, because that is not required. But he because he had that, all that goodness had come in him, he requested, in a failing voice, he requested Sugriva that, "I'm very sorry that I did not do justice to you. I know I have done all mistakes, but please, I beg you that please take care of Tara and Angada in my absence." And he also glorified his wife in front of Sugriva. He said, "Remember to," now Tara is very intelligent, "remember to take advice from her in all the important decisions making. You will always turn successful. I made a mistake by not taking her words at the right time, right moment. She knows what is right, when to do, how to do. She is very intelligent. Please remember to take her advice. She is very chaste. When I am not there, she will serve you, and with complete chastity." So that is how much Vali regarded Tara. So when we are very kind, caring, smart, intelligent, devoted, we actually are very important assets to our husbands. So in this way, Vali finally left his body. Everyone was wailing, and Sugriva also very much lamented, because actually Sugriva always regarded Vali. When he ran from Mayave and took up the kingdom also, he was not like, "Oh, Vali should not never come." And when Vali came back also, actually Sugriva was very happy, But then situations they tormented Sugriva so much. He just stole his wife and made Sugriva. See, he ended up in a situation to kill Vali. So Sugriva also lamented, and at that moment, Tara comes there. Tara comes there and tells to Rama, "Now your arrow with which you have killed Vali, please use that arrow, same arrow, and kill me also. Vali and me are not different. We are one. You don't worry that you will be accused of killing a woman because I and Vali and me are one, and by killing me, you have just completed the task of killing Vali. Otherwise, you have not completely killed Vali." Like that, Tara tells. That was her exemplification of her deep chastity towards her husband. Uh, I can never live. I can never think of living without separated from Vali. Like that, she just completely piteously, she just cries. Then she even continues to say that he will miss me. I am his devoted servant. He says, even in the heavenly planets, even if there are different apsaras dancing around him, still he will miss me. I know, because I am his devoted servant. So this emphasizes more and more on her chastity, which is very important more. Now, servant does not mean slave. Servant, she considers servant of Vali in a deep mood of service which she had for him. And he in turn had great respect and admiration for her wisdom and love. So the position of a servant, when the master knows for what it is, then it is very exalted position actually. So now Ram consoles Tara. He says that this entire creation yields to happiness and distress one after another. They just keep coming and going. And even in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Matra Sparshasthu Kaunteya Titoshna Sukha Dukkhadha Agamapayano Anityastam Stitikshasva Bharata. Krishna tells to Arjuna that, O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course of time are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O son of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So, in the proper discharge of duty, Prabhupada tells in his purport, in the proper discharge of duty, one has to learn to tolerate non-permanent appearances and disappearances of happiness and distress. One has to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of religious principles in order to rise up to the platform of knowledge, because by knowledge and devotion, only one can liberate himself from the clutches of man. So this way Ram tells Tara that happiness and distress in phases come and go. Now you have sufficiently mourned for your husband. You will soon enjoy as much delight under Sugriva's protection as you did with Vali. Your son will become the prince and you will be honored. All this is ordained by the providence. Be peaceful, Tara. That was the moral code. This is the moral code for your race. After your husband's death, you should accept his brother as your husband and serve him. So like that Ram tells. And Tara just listens, because actually she was completely chaste to Vali. And now when Ram explains, she surrendered to Ram's words also. So that shows to Tara's great devotion. Even at the pyre of Vali, Tara mourned and was convinced or consoled by the Vanara ladies. So now what happens is Sugriva is enthroned back as the king of Kishkinda, and he has his principal queen Ruma and Tara also. And by then monsoon begins, Chaturmasa begins, and Ram and Lakshman tells that Sugriva, you rule your kingdom, and this is not the right season to go out because it rains very heavily, to go in search of Sita. We will resume the search of Sita after the monsoons. And so Ram and Lakshman goes to the Malyavanta hills, and Sugriva becomes the king of Kishkinda. Now monsoon is over, and the sun comes back again, and Ram every moment is just thinking of Sita. He just wants the monsoon to get over and immediately begin the search for Sita, because he is moment by moment he's tormented by separation of Mother Sita. And Lakshman also sees the situation of Ram and is equally anxious, and in urgency he wants to help Ram as soon as possible. So they actually literally every day wait for the monsoons to get over and to resume back their service. Now monsoon is over and there is no news of Sugriva yet. And back in Kishkinda, what has happened is Sugriva was completely intoxicated in his kingdom, and he is around Vanara ladies and bloodshot eyes and fully with the uh, full. He was drinking and he was having all kind of sensual pleasures, and he's just doing. He was just completely involved in sense gratification. And but Hanuman, he's there, he's the minister of Sugriva, and he sees that the monsoons have changed, the seasons have changed, and he comes and tells Sugriva that, see, we have promised, we have entered into a friendship with Ram, and now we are supposed to help Ram. He has already helped us, and we have promised him that we are going to help. Sugriva, he comes back to his senses at that moment, and he was very grateful to Hanuman for giving him that reminder at that time. So he immediately calls for all his Mangi soldiers and tells them to go in different places and gather all the monkeys so that they have a large group of Vanaras, and then they can put them in proper order for the search. Here Ram was very much waiting. Then he tells Lakshman that you go to Kishkinda and remind Sugriva of his promise. Don't be arrogant. Be peaceful. He tells specifically to Lakshman, because Lakshman was in such an urgency to help Ram and bring him out of grief. So, but Lakshman was really furious still, and he just in that fury he was walking towards Kishkinda. And when he was just still outskirts of Kishkinda, Angada sees him, and Angada runs to Lakshman and offers his Dandavat pranams. Lakshman sees Angada and he says that go and call your uncle immediately to come. So Angada rushes back to the kingdom, and Sugriva is not in a proper shape only. So he was still in full sense gratification, and then Angada tells, Hanuman is also there, and Angada tells that Lakshman has already come. So then Sugriva just tried to immediately says, Hanuman, you both go and receive him. So Hanuman and Angada go to Kishkinda borders, and they offer full Dandavat pranams, offer nice words, and they bring him with nice, with sweet words, they bring him towards Kishkinda palace, and they make him sit in the magnificent hall. Now at this time, Sugriva remembers what Vali had told him about Tara to make, whenever you are in a situation, take help of Tara. She is very intelligent and she is very, she knows time, place and circumstances, how to handle things. So immediately, what she does is he tells Tara, you go and receive Lakshman. You go and pacify Lakshman, because he will never be angry in front of women also. And I'll just get ready and I'll come and see, like that. So now Tara's service to Sugriva was same as her service to Vali. And she did not differentiate in the service. She was awarding both of them. Similarly, Sugriva's regard to Tara was also same as Vali's regard towards Tara. So now Tara goes and she tries to pacify Lakshman. Lakshman was not in a mood to hear, but when Tara comes and speaks, he did not show his anger, but he says, I want to go and see Sugriva right now. Then Tara agrees, and Tara takes Lakshman to Sugriva, and Sugriva still was, his eyes were still full red, and he was still in that slumber mood because the previous day's intoxication has not still come down. He was understanding things, but his head was not in proper shape. He was also not in a proper shape. Then when he saw Lakshman, because he was thinking that he'll get some time to go and meet Lakshman, but Lakshman immediately had come in already. Then he actually nicely, furiously reprimands Sugriva. Actually, Rama told, peace, 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 because Lakshman, when Ram showed his sorrow that Sugriva did not come yet, so Lakshman immediately wanted to kill him. But then Ram said, peace, peace. Aram said, you go and pacify him or ask him, but remind him, don't be furious. So then Lakshman had actually calmed down, and then he says Sugriva, he actually reprimands Sugriva. Then Sugriva, at that moment, Tara again beseeched Lakshman. She said, be patient. After all, Sugriva is an ordinary person. He's a monkey. Even a great sages like Vishwamitra, they fall in prey to lust. Moreover, Sugriva, so what to tell about Sugriva? And Sugriva has already realized his mistakes, and he has already began he has started making the arrangements for the search. He has already sent all the Vanaras in different directions to collect all the monkeys, so that we have a huge Vanara Sainya, and then we can, all the directions we can go and search Sita. And when Lakshman heard that, okay, the arrangements are being made, then he was satisfied, because his focus is only service to Ram. Anything comes in between his service to Ram, he wants to just eliminate them. So after this, Lakshman was pacified, and then things worked out, and then Ram also comes, and then and then Ramayana goes on. So this way, time and again, so in the mention in the Valmiki Ramayana, Tara exits. After this scene, there is no mention of Tara in the Valmiki Ramayana. So time and again, Tara's virtuous qualities are shown up. Even in the actually, I just googled through and I found that in the Brahma Purana, Tara is there is mention of the Panchakanyas, and Tara is one of them. It is told that Ahalya Draupadi Sita Tara Mandodari Tata Panchakanye Smare Nitya Mahapataka Nashina. So here they are glorified as chaste women, and through the narration we can also see that how actually Tara, with all that great quality she has, her chastity stands forth actually. In every situation, when Vali listens to her or when Vali did not consider her words, still she was completely devoted to Vali, and she actually wanted to give up her life with Vali. So to summarize, we see that, and also it is also in other places of reference I saw, not in Valmiki Ramayana, I saw that um, uh, she is mentioned as the daughter of Sushena also. Sushena is the monkey Vanara Vaidya. He is the Vanara Vaidya, and actually Sushena helps Hanuman to find the Sanjeevani when Lakshmana falls after Ravana's son. He hits Lakshmana. Then Lakshmana falls unconscious. At that time, Hanuman goes to bring the Sanjeevani, and he could not identify the Sanjeevani. He brings the entire Sanjeevani mountain, and that time Sushena helps Lakshmana to identify the Sanjeevani booty. So that way, mention of Sushena is there. And also in other places, I saw the reference that Tara was an Apsara also. So all these things, I'm not too sure about their authenticity. But Panchakanya, Tara being Panchakanya, I have heard in quite a few places. And her character in the Ramayana also affirms that. So to summarize, we see that Tara's wisdom, presence of mind, intelligence, diplomacy, sobriety, gratitude, and devotion. So much she has exemplified. And when we surrender, we also gather immense strength. And how we need to make choices when we are confronted by our own conditionings, and also when we are instructed by Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, how we need to follow that and not be overpowered by our own conditionings. We as practitioners, we as sadhana bhaktas, we would not be very perfected yet. We know our shortcomings and we want to perfect, because it is told that Anyaha Bilashita Shunya Jnana Karma Anavrata. That Rupa Goswami says that bhakti means Anyaha Bilashita Shunya, only love for Krishna with no other abhilasha. We understand that for us, abhilasha is no other abhilasha, only Krishna is still a long way. We have our material desires also, but still we want to be anyabhilashita. We want, our goal is to please only Krishna. Today we may not be in that position, but still our goal is to please Krishna only. So in our journey to achieve that goal, we are confronted by so many of our shortcomings, of our conditions, because of our previous conditioning. And we as practitioners should realize that this situation is because of my previous conditioning, and I need to know where I stand, but I need to know where I am supposed to go. So when we have that balance, that I know this is what my position is, but I know what I'm supposed to go, then we'll have a safe and peaceful journey. Because peace in the sense, we know positively that how we are trying to overcome our anarthas, and when we are surrendered to the Lord and when we take shelter of the Lord, then internally that strength for continuing devotional service increases, and we feel the shelter of the Lord. And similarly, when we actually surrender, like Vali, finally at the end of it, he realized his mistake and he surrendered. And and even Tara, when she was complete, she wanted to die with Vali, and it was more of she now, after Vali doing so much atrocities towards Sugriva, now taking shelter of Sugriva was beyond her actually liking. Nobody would want to do that. But when Rama told her, now this is your duty, now this is what you're supposed to do, she completely agreed. She just agreed. So similarly, when we follow Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, and then we can also get good realizations and blessings from the Supreme Lord. Thank you very much. Uh, Actually, I've just read through the Ramayana and tried to gather something and try to present. It is not that they are deep, my realizations. Please forgive me if I've spoken beyond it, but I tried to share some thoughts which I had. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Are there any questions? Dear Mataji, any questions?
Hare Krishna.
Like that she says. So what I was trying to tell is that mood of servant is not like a slave. He did not never consider Tara as slave, but Tara told that I am his servant. So because that is a deep mood of service which she had towards her husband, and so she considers as him as the master and she as a servant. So similarly, when we are surrendered to the Supreme Lord or to our seniors or to the elevated Vaishnavas, so it is very nice position to consider ourselves as servants. It is not that they consider us as slaves, but it is like even Mukund Mala Stotra also, King Kolashekara says, Bhritya Bhritya Tava. So he always mentioned that I want to be the Das, 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 Anudas, like that person. So that mood Tara exhibits.
Yes, Padre, thank you.
Pratikulya Varjanam Rakshishyatiti Vishwaso Goptratve Varnam Tata Atma Nikshepa Karpane Shadvida Sharanagati. That one is accepting things which are favorable to devotional service, accepting those things which are favorable to devotional service. Second is rejecting which are unfavorable, completely convinced that Krishna will give me protection. That is Rakshishyatiti Vishwaso. Fourth one is accepting Lord as one's guardian or master. Atma Nikshepam is full self-surrender. And sixth one is Karpanye, that is humility. So this is 6 divisions of Sharanagati. That is only doing that is favorable. So we are very clear that this I will do only if it is favorable. This I will not do because it is not favorable. And I am completely convinced in all the situation, any situation that comes into my mind, that Krishna is always there. He will always protect me. And I accept him as my supreme master and no one else. He is my supreme master and controller, and I am surrendered to him and want to be completely humble.
Thank you, Mataji.